to be able to extend tax breaks to the most wealthy in the country. That's not what Social Security was set up for. Social Security is a program that people pay into. It's a trust fund. And to truly understand the way that that fund has been rated or leveraged in the past should have never been done to begin with. Specific to Medicare, as we talked about, going after fraud and waste and abuse, extending preventative services for our seniors so that way you can catch chronic conditions earlier, that helps with the solvency. Our colleagues want full repeal, but when they talk about full repeal of the benefits that we put forth, they still want to take the savings and put it into a voucher program. That's not going to help seniors as well. So this comes back down to priorities and values. I didn't support the extension of the Bush tax cuts in 2009. I don't support them now. I don't think that they created any job opportunity for the country, and quite honestly, that could have been leveraged to help offset the costs associated with Medicare Social Security.
So you think that Medicare Social Security not only should not be cut, but completely verboten? That, in your mind, they hands off altogether?
Well, again, there's a clear difference between how we're looking at extending the solvency of Social Security and Medicare and what our Republican colleagues are doing. They've all embraced the Budget Ryan plan, or the Paul Ryan budget plan, which completely vouchers, turns into a privatized program with Medicare. Now we see legislation and discussions that also took place at the time of the Ryan budget proposal of privatizing Social Security. That's not the answer. If they're serious about trying to find a way to put answers on the table, I'm willing to listen. But again, if the priority is going to be, or there's a difference in priorities, from extending tax breaks to the most wealthy in the country, as opposed to being serious about looking at safety net programs, which sadly, the most conservative, ultra-conservative Republicans, i.e. the Tea Party now, have not supported in protecting those programs, I fundamentally disagree with them.
You had a town hall in Farmington, and a couple of people challenged you, but you are having town halls, and some congressmen aren't. What are your thoughts about why you think it's important to have these things?
I think it's a responsibility that we have with the trust that we are earning, the trust that was placed in us as elected officials to be able to go out and meet with your constituents. Some constituents may not agree with your votes or with your policy, but you have to go and explain yourself. Sadly, what happened when we were in Farmington is we were visiting at a Goodwill, and we were talking about job creation, putting people to work, a charitable organization that helps people understand financial benefits of saving, understanding financial literacy. And I had a group of protesters that wanted to visit them. And as I shared with them then, I could have gone in and not spoken to them, but I wanted to talk to them and hear what was on their mind. Sadly, from what was reported by the Farmington Times, is one of the people interviewed said, we need to get rid of Congressman Lujan so we can elect an American. And then when he was told, or he or she was told, well, Congressman Lujan is an American. He was born in New Mexico. They said, well, we meant an American patriot. Look, I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a New Mexican. I'm proud to be a Democrat. That has no place here, as opposed to airing out the disagreements that may exist. But we need to leave those ridiculous attacks and those ridiculous things off the table. We're going to continue traveling the district. We're having conversations with Ben. And quite honestly, we learn so much. And Democrats and Republicans come together and they offer great ideas, independence here in Mexico. That's one of the funnest parts about being a representative, is you meet people you'd have never met. You learn things that you may have never learned. But you're able to come together and find some common ground and do the best you can to represent New Mexico.
Just one last question.
Okay, real quick.
The congressional approval rating is pretty low, both among Republicans and Democrats. What do you do to turn that around?
Well, I'll tell you, as a representative from the 3rd Congressional District, traveling the district, visiting with our constituents, whether it's one-on-one or it's in a group, making yourself available and accessible, whether you're buying groceries or you're traveling the district in any way, you need to keep talking to people. And I think that's what people want to see, is this notion that folks aren't accessible is not good. You need to be able to be responsive and to the very best of your ability be able to answer and explain your votes and understand that you don't know everything, but that you have a constituency that are brilliant and they can help you better understand what's happening. That's the way that I approach things, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Comes with the territory.
Well, it's important that you go out and you earn the trust of your constituency. It's nothing that people should just accept or take for granted. You need to get out and talk to the people that entrusted with you, or even those that didn't vote for you. You represent them as well, and you have to do the best you can to represent them in the way that you know how.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Any thoughts on redistricting?
I don't know what's going to happen, Steve. You look at those maps to see what's on the table or what's not. The 3rd Congressional District, if I could have a say and say, we like representing the eastern part of the state, we like representing the northwest part, the Rio Grande corridor, the tribes. We're one of the most diverse districts in the country, not just from the perspective of the diversity of the people, the diversity of industry, the diversity of thinking. And it's one that I appreciate. It allows us to be able to talk about agriculture programs. It allows us to talk about innovation. It allows us to talk about energy. It allows us to talk about the advocacy of people, seniors, veterans, more veterans per capita. And that's a district that I want to represent. So we'll see what ultimately happens, but that's up to the legislature and to the governor.
I can try to get rid of Farmington.
I like the district I have. If I could continue to represent Farmington, Gallup, Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Espanola, Portales, Clovis, Tucumcari, Clayton, I love it. I love representing my district. But what's nice about New Mexico is we're such a small state that you don't just represent your district, you represent the state. And so you try to carry the best you can for the advocacy of the state.
Can you see your birth certificate?
We may have to present that, I'm telling you.
Okay, thanks, folks. We've actually got